Hey everyone, welcome to CineTruths. Today we're going to explain the 2007 film Zodiac. This movie has a 7.7 rating on IMDb and is based on real events. It tells the story of a serial killer who terrified San Francisco from the 1960s to the 1970s. Killer sent letters to the police before each murder, haunting them with clues. Despite these warnings, the case remains unsolved from 1969 to today. This movie is sure to give you chills. It's been recognized as one of the best films of the 21st century. I guarantee if you watch this movie alone, you might not get the full story. So, fasten your seatbelts and let's start. The movie starts on July 4th, 1969, in Vallejo. We meet a woman named Darlene, who, despite being married, frequently has affairs. One night, Darlene picks up a guy named Mike, and they head out of town to spend some time together. Suddenly, a man in a dark car appears and opens fire on them. Darlene is killed in the attack, but Mike survives. The scene then shifts forward a month to the San Francisco Chronicle newsroom. They receive a letter from the killer, who identifies himself as Zodiac. The letter includes a coded message and a warning. Unless the police solve these codes and uncover his identity, he will continue killing. This letter causes widespread concern because it explicitly threatens more murders. The letter and its puzzle quickly spread to all police departments in San Francisco as they work to crack the code. At the Chronicle office, we meet a political cartoonist named Robert Graysmith. Starts working on the puzzle because he loves solving them. After hours of effort, Robert concludes that the letters don't reveal the killer's identity. Paul Avery, a crime reporter at the paper, is brought in but dismisses Robert's findings and mocks him. When the newspaper is published, a married couple solves the puzzle, but it turns out there was no real identification of the killer in it. Next, we see a couple, Brian and Cecilia, spending time by the lake. The Zodiac shows up and attacks them with a knife, killing both. The Zodiac sends another letter to the Chronicle, this time including a piece of the taxi driver's blood-stained shirt. In this letter, he taunts the police and the people of San Francisco, claiming that no one is smart enough to catch him. The Zodiac continues sending letters, each one a new challenge for the police. Meanwhile, the police are doing their best to gather evidence, but are still no closer to solving the case. The Zodiac writes another letter, expressing his desire to call into a live TV show and speak with a lawyer present. During the show, Zodiac calls in and tells the host, Jim, that he's sick and that the pain in his head is what drives him to kill. The police attempt to trace the call, but Zodiac is always one step ahead. As time goes on, the investigation continues. Police compile a list of suspects and question them. One suspect, Arthur Lee Allen, catches the attention of Inspector Toshki and his team. They notice a Zodiac symbol on Arthur's watch and find his behavior suspicious. Investigations reveal that Arthur was dismissed from a school job for inappropriate behavior with children. However, his handwriting doesn't match the Zodiac's letters, and there's no physical evidence linking him to the crimes. Paul Avery, the crime reporter, continues to publish articles about Zodiac, but one day he receives a threatening letter from the Zodiac, which includes a piece of the blood-stained shirt. This shakes Paul to the core, and he turns to alcohol, eventually losing his job. Robert Graysmith, meanwhile, is still obsessively working on the case. He meets with Toshki, providing him with new information, although Toshki can't officially assist him. Instead, Toshki helps indirectly by referring Robert to other departments. Robert's research leads him to publish a book about Zodiac, which becomes a bestseller. After the book's release, Zodiac starts calling Robert's home, though Robert's wife becomes terrified and leaves with their children. Robert, now obsessed with the case, loses his job but continues his investigation. He discovers that Arthur worked near Darlene's home and shares a birthday with a date mentioned in the Zodiac's letters. While Robert believes Arthur is the Zodiac, there's no physical evidence to prove it. As time passes, Robert's investigation stalls. One day, he visits Arthur at a grocery store, but they don't communicate. 8 years later, Robert's book has been published and is a bestseller. Mike, the surviving victim, returns to identify Zodiac suspects, but he's not completely sure after so many years. Robert's investigation seems accurate, but the movie ends without a clear resolution. In the epilogue, we learn that Arthur passed away before he could be tried for the murders. In 2002, DNA profiling of Zodiac's letters proved that Arthur was not the Zodiac, leaving the true identity of Zodiac still unknown. San Francisco Police Department officially closed the case in 2004, but Arthur remains a primary suspect. Inspector Toschi retired in 1989, and Paul Avery died in 2000 at the age of 66. Robert Graysmith, however, still lives in San Francisco with his family, claiming that no further Zodiac calls have come after Arthur's death. We hope you enjoyed this explanation. Please like or dislike the video, as your feedback is important to us. Also, we'd really appreciate your support by subscribing to our channel. That's all for today. See you in the next video. Until then, thank you, take care, and goodbye.